Indiana University is renowned for its academics, sports, and student involvement, but one piece of the university which is most impressive is the beautiful campus located in the heart of Bloomington. The campus is highlighted by its large array of wooded areas as well as the sprawling areas of green. All of Bloomington's campus is beautiful, but one area in particular that stands out is the Old Quadrangle, also known as the Old Crescent. One thing that a lot of people do not know is that where the university is located now was not always the area where campus stood.
Indiana University started out in 1820 down where it's presently called Seminary Square, where the Kroger's grocery store is. And they stayed at that location until around the 1880s.
In 1883, a fire destroyed Science Hall, which was a large portion of the old campus. At that point, the university was considering disbanding.
And after the burning of that building, there was a decision made by the trustees to purchase land called Dunn's Woods over by what is presently Indiana Avenue.
With the help of donations from local residents in the area, they were able to buy the 20 acres of land from farmer Moses Dunn in 1883, and construction on the new campus began in 1884. This is where our beautiful campus stands today. When the Board of Trustees bought the 20 acres from Moses Dunn, they probably never realized what a magnificent, sprawling campus it would become.
The buildings in the Old Crescent were built over a period of about 40 years, starting, of course, in the 1880s. And the first buildings that they built were Owen Hall and Wiley Hall. And those are the only brick buildings that are on campus.
Wiley Hall is named after Indiana University's first president, Andrew Wiley. When the building was first built, it had a large tower at the top, but in 1900 it was damaged by a fire and the tower was never rebuilt. Owen Hall is built of Italianate architecture and was named after the Owen brothers, Robert, David, and Richard. Richard was a well-known professor at Indiana University, teaching philosophy, chemistry, geology, mineralogy, as well as German and French. He later went on to become Purdue University's first president. The next building to be built in the Old Crescent was Maxwell Hall, and it was constructed in 1890.
Maxwell Hall, which was the library building for the campus when it was originally constructed. And that's an H.H. Richardson Romanesque type building, very heavy stone, ornate carvings, lots of detail in that building.
Maxwell Hall also housed the law school and university administration. It was named after the Maxwell family and all of their contributions to the university.
On top of that building, they have carved bats with an IU shield. And if you go to the south entrance, which is an arched entrance, you'll notice that there is carved in there a dragon that stretches clear across that entrance.
Kirkwood Hall was built in 1895 and was named after Daniel Kirkwood, a distinguished professor of sciences at IU from 1856 to 1889.
And that one's probably one of the more ornate buildings on campus. If you look closely at the stonework and the carvings of the stone, that arched opening is carved with oak leaves. And as you go around the building, you see that oak leaf detail repeated again and again, particularly around the window capitals. The student building was constructed with funds from donations by students and alumni, and it was designed by the firm Vonnegut and Bond, which is Kurt Vonnegut's grandfather.
The student building is now home to the Geography Museum and many classrooms and was originally constructed in 1905. The chimes on the top of the building ring out on the hour and quarter hour and in concert each afternoon at 5 p.m. The Rose Well House is one of the staples of IU's campus and was constructed in 1908. In the early years of Indiana University, drinking water was somewhat of a scarcity. Rainwater had to be channeled into cisterns located underground. A small hand pump would come up from the ground, and that's where students could receive their drinking water.
The alumni, Theodore Rose, looked at this and he said, well, I would like to donate funds to the university to put a shelter over this source of drinking water for the students. And he was able to go back down to Seminary Square, where the remaining buildings of the original Indiana University were still standing, and he salvaged the stone portals or doorways that moved and became part of the creation of the Rose Well House. So if you go there and look at the entrances from the east and west side, those stone portals are actually the oldest building on campus because they come from the original buildings.
It is a landmark of campus, and since it was built, there has been a tradition that a female student is not officially an IU co-ed until she has been kissed beneath its dome at midnight. In 1980, the Old Crescent was designated a historic district and approved for listing in the National Register of Historic Places. Work on getting the area historically recognized began in 1976 and was finally approved 4 years later. This means that the Old Crescent and all of the buildings designated within its premises must be kept intact and cannot be architecturally disturbed. This was especially important for all the trees located within Dunn Woods. The small forest in Dunn Woods is one of the only places left on campus which has never been altered by the university in any way. The same trees stand there from the day the land was purchased. The trees cannot be cut down unless they are dying or cause a hazard to the walkways that lead throughout the woods. Many measures have been taken by university officials to preserve the beauty of Dunn Woods and the buildings in the Old Crescent. With memories of the alumni and former Indiana University students in mind, the university has grown to be one of the great educational and cultural centers in the United States. The character and beauty of the campus is unmatched in a tradition that has been kept alive for over 100 years. We can be especially thankful to Herman B. Wells when he was serving his time as university president and chancellor. He was very insistent on keeping in the traditions of the campus landscape. In his famous last presidential address to the alumni, he summed up the importance of keeping in this tradition. I hope our alumni will always insist upon retention of our precious islands of green and serenity, our most important physical asset, transcending even classrooms, libraries, and laboratories in their ability to inspire students to dream long dreams of future usefulness and achievement, the dreams that are an important and essential part of the undergraduate college experience.